10 shocking social experiments that reveal human nature. Human nature is a mystery that people have tried to understand for centuries. Why do we act the way we do? What makes people help others or ignore someone in need? Why do we follow rules even when they are unfair? Or why do some of us become cruel when given a little bit of power? These are not just philosophical questions. Over the past few decades, many researchers and psychologists have designed social experiments to explore these very ideas. These experiments, sometimes strange and often shocking, have shown how deeply social forces shape our thoughts, actions, and feelings. In this article, we will take a look at 10 of the most surprising social experiments that uncovered powerful truths about human nature. One of the most famous and disturbing experiments in psychology was the Stanford Prison Experiment. It was conducted in 1971 by psychologist Philip Zimbardo at Stanford University. The goal was to see how people behave when they are given authority or placed in a powerless role. 24 male college students were chosen and randomly assigned to be either guards or prisoners in a fake prison set up in the basement of the university. The experiment was supposed to last 2 weeks, but it was stopped after just 6 days because the situation got out of control. The guards became cruel and abusive, and the prisoners showed signs of stress, depression, and helplessness. The experiment showed how quickly people can change their behavior when placed in a position of power, even if they were normal, well-behaved individuals before. Another well-known experiment was the Milgram obedience study, which took place in the 1960s. This study tested how far people would go in obeying authority, even if it meant hurting someone else. Participants were told they were helping in a learning experiment. They were instructed to give electric shocks to another person who was actually an actor pretending to be in pain every time that person gave a wrong answer. As the shocks increased, the actor screamed and begged for it to stop. Yet, most of the participants continued delivering shocks just because a man in a lab coat told them to do so. This experiment revealed something very unsettling: that ordinary people are capable of harming others if they believe they are simply following orders from someone in authority. In the Asch conformity experiment from the 1950s, psychologist Solomon Asch wanted to find out how social pressure affects people's decisions. Volunteers were shown a line and asked to match it with another line of the same length. The correct answer was obvious, but the catch was that each volunteer was surrounded by actors who gave the wrong answer on purpose. Many participants ended up giving the wrong answer too, just to fit in with the group. This experiment proved how powerful peer pressure can be and how people often choose to go along with the crowd, even when they know the group is wrong. In the bystander effect experiment, inspired by the tragic murder of Kitty Genovese in 1964, researchers found that people are less likely to help someone in trouble when others are present. They tested this by creating situations where someone appeared to be having an emergency, such as fainting or crying for help, and then observed how people reacted when they were alone versus when they were in a group. Time and again, the more people there were, the less likely anyone was to step forward and help. This experiment revealed a sad truth: when responsibility is shared, people often do nothing, assuming someone else will take action. One fascinating study known as the Robbers Cave experiment was conducted in the 1950s with 2 groups of boys at a summer camp. At first, the groups did not know about each other. Once they met, the researchers created competition between them. The boys quickly became hostile, calling each other names and even getting into fights. But then the researchers gave them tasks that required cooperation, such as fixing a water supply problem. Slowly, the boys began to work together and became friends. This experiment showed that conflict between groups is often not about real hatred but about competition. It also proved that unity can be created by having shared goals. The halo effect is a psychological trick of the mind that shows how first impressions can cloud our judgment. In one experiment, participants were shown a video of a professor speaking in English but with a European accent. In one version of the video, the professor acted warm and friendly. In another, he acted cold and distant. Even though everything else was the same, participants rated the professor as more attractive and intelligent when he was warm and more unlikable when he was cold. This revealed that our opinions of someone's appearance, character, and intelligence can be heavily influenced by how we feel about one single trait. The car crash experiment by Elizabeth Loftus in 1974 showed how easily human memory can be manipulated. Participants were shown a video of a car crash and then asked questions about it. The twist was in the wording. When asked, how fast were the cars going when they smashed into each other, people gave much higher speed estimates than when asked, how fast were the cars going when they hit each other? Some even claimed to see broken glass when there was none. This experiment showed that our memories are not always reliable and can be changed based on how questions are asked. In a strange and clever experiment on in-group bias, known as the minimal group paradigm, people were randomly assigned to groups based on meaningless differences, like which painting they liked more. Even though the groups were meaningless and participants did not even meet each other, they still showed favoritism toward their own group. They were more willing to reward their group members than those from the other group. This experiment showed how quickly people can develop loyalty and discrimination based on the smallest differences, which explains many of the divisions we see in the real world. Another powerful study, the third wave experiment, took place in a California high school in 1967. A teacher wanted to show how easily people could be drawn into authoritarian movements like fascism. He created a strict group with rules, discipline, slogans, and a salute. The students, at first confused, quickly embraced the movement, feeling proud and superior. Within a few days, they were reporting rule breakers and acting harshly toward outsiders. The teacher eventually revealed that it was just an experiment, and the students were shocked at how far they had gone. This experiment highlighted how quickly ordinary people can fall into dangerous ideologies when they are given purpose, identity, and order. Finally, one modern experiment called the Invisible Gorilla Experiment tested selective attention. In the experiment, people were asked to count how many times a group of people passed a basketball. While they focused on the task, a person in a gorilla suit walked through the scene, beat their chest, and walked off. Surprisingly, half the people did not notice the gorilla at all. This experiment showed how we can miss obvious things when we are too focused on a single task. It also revealed how perception is limited by attention and how easily we can overlook important details. These 10 social experiments give us a window into the human mind and the society we live in. They remind us that behavior is not always logical and that people can be deeply influenced by surroundings, authority, peers, and even small details. They also show us that kindness, cruelty, loyalty, and fear are not just personal traits, they are shaped by the world around us. Understanding these experiments helps us better understand ourselves and others. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it interesting, please give it a like, share it with someone who loves psychology and sociology, and do not forget to subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Your support helps us bring more educational and thought-provoking topics to life. See you in the next video.